Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Back to Basics, episode 18 with myself, Sims, and my wonderful three co-hosts. We have Richard Bowman, aka Trick77.
How you doing, everybody?
The wonderful, the face of everything MLG and esports altogether, Mr. Alex Goldenboy Mendez, and the face of Go Beyond Entertainment, aPK, aka a Polish Korean. Guys, thank you all very much for joining me. Three new co-hosts of the show tonight. If you didn't realise, well, you won't know anyway, Adam and Slinky are doing something with university. Apparently, Adam's got some sort of dance. Yay! Is the only word I can probably describe for that one, but hell, you know. We move on. Guys, thank you all for joining me. Trick, welcome along. You're supposed to do one of the other episodes while we're in Greece. Thank you for joining me, bro, tonight.
No problem, mate. Glad to get involved in something again.
I know you're happy to get your teeth sunk into a couple of V5 Ricochet debates we've got going.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be interesting. Alex, thank you very much for joining us, bro. It's absolutely fantastic to have you here. I know you've got a lot on. We've had troubles before with MLG. I know you're a very, very busy guy, so thank you so much for taking your time out to come and be with us here tonight. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I'm really glad finally get to do a Halo talk show for a change, and it's going to be fun.
Mate, Halo where it's at. Just, you don't want COD. Halo needs you, bro. You got to be here. This is where it's at, man. I'm telling you, this is where it's at.
I knew it was going to come. I knew it. I just knew it.
If I didn't say it, someone else in chat probably would. It's
Probably.
the voice, man. You've got the voice.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sean, bro, thanks again for being here, man. From Team Beyond, one of possibly the best, in my opinion, best forgers of Halo 4 right now that we've got.
It's an honor. I know we've been talking about it for a couple months about me coming on the show, and it's nice to finally get it worked out and to be live with you guys.
Yeah, it's all come together tonight. It's a pity the other guys are here, but I've got Trick. I've got my bite. It's gonna be.
Yeah, you don't need those two.
No, we don't. It's Richard and Richard tonight. The two dicks are on it, guys. We're on it. Me and Mr. Bowman. So, going into the show then tonight, introductions done. First up, Halo Bulletin. Bit of a decent one today. Various different things. Trick's got the lowdown on that, so we're going to discuss that one. After that, moving on to Ricochet V5. A lot of people at the moment talking about Ricochet. Is it competitive? Isn't it? Eric Hewitt, Mr. Ghosty Army, yet again, has had his way with Ricochet. He is what I think has made a competitive game type. People in the EU right now, and even apparently a few people on Beyond, still not happy about it, but we're going to discuss it, everyone's opinion on it. It's great to have both aPK and Goldenboy here because we get both sides of the coin, one from a commentator's point of view, looking at the game from outside, and then one from who actually plays it with inside. It's Trick's a competitive player within you as well, so it's going to be an interesting fuse, and we'll get all your views out in the chat as well. So moving on from that, title update too. We are hearing rumours of a secondary title update coming along anytime soon, so again, more opinions here. What do we want? Let's voice our opinions, L343. What are we looking forward to? What's going to be happening in the future? What are we, as a community, looking forward to seeing sometime in the future? So, and after that, quick Halo 4 Global Championship recap. We spoke about it last week on the show, and it's moving on now. We've heard a lot about it. It's seen videos, things like that. But while I've got these two guys here who are actually there, one of them being who actually cast it, I actually want to get a lot of opinions and general thoughts on it. But main enough, the main topic of that leads on to Halo 4, what's next? We've had Globals, what's coming next? Where do we go from here? That kind of, fair enough, that drops on from the title update too, but where do we go from here? Is there more for Halo 4, or do we move on to and just look forward to Halo 5? We're going to discuss it, and a quick Q&A from myself and the rest of the community. So, without further ado, Mr. Richard Bowman, this is your subject of tonight, well, one of many. Halo Bulletin. Give it to us, bro.
All right. So the Halo Bulletin, it's got quite a lot of info in it this time, but the stuff that stands out for me is the Halo 4 Ricochet contest. You can tell 343 are definitely trying to push Ricochet. You can tell that they're really proud of it, and they want to keep sort of the hype going. So they've got this contest going in conjunction with Certain Affinity, Rooster Teeth, and some community cartographers, and also 343 Industries themselves. So they've got a lot of people, behind this, putting a lot of resources into it. And what they want is they're looking for the best 6 community-created Ricochet maps. And you can only create them on Forge Island, Ravine, and Impact, from what I can tell from the Halo Bulletin. And you've got until the 8th of October at midnight, I think, to submit it. Now, if you go onto Waypoint, you check the bulletin, there'll be the instructions of who you can submit it to. And There's also some tips on there, which is pretty cool about the kind of stuff they're looking at. You know, sort of small, mid-sized maps and other things like, you know, long line of sight so you can throw the ball, that kind of stuff. It's all explained on there really, really well. But what makes it really cool is the prizes that they've got. They've got 3 sort of big prizes, 1 grand prize, which has, I mean, they've got a lot of stuff. So if you guys want to interrupt me, feel free. But in the grand prize, they've got an autographed Champions Bundle poster, which is signed by everybody at Certain Affinity. They've got an autographed Halo 4 concept art, which is again signed by CA. Certain Affinity T-shirt, autographed Halo 4 Game of the Year edition, signed by the developers at 343. You know, Halo 4 T-shirt, Rooster Teeth DVD, Rooster Teeth T-shirt, Rooster Teeth poster. Then second and third prize, you get a little bit less, but you still get a lot of the similar stuff that's in grand prize, which is not as much. So it's definitely for you forgers out there, definitely get your forge on, get involved, get your map submitted. There's some really cool prizes. Now, moving on from that, they've got the playlist update, which again, a lot of it is focused around Ricochet. They're bringing in some of they've changed the on-disc maps. They've all been updated to the weapon tuning layout, and they've had their spawns fixed and weapons balanced, and they've also added Onyx, Dispatch, and Simplex, I think it is, due to the fact that they're symmetrical and they're smaller, because that's the kind of stuff that they're looking for. They've also changed, again, for team doubles, they've updated it with maps like Pitfall, Graphite, Onyx, which is cool. I love Onyx and I love Pitfall. Can't wait to play that in doubles. What else have they got? They've also changed, they focus a lot on big team. I don't know if you guys have noticed that.
I did actually say that. I remember tweeting Quinn. I was playing it one day and I thought, you know what, I'm going to tweet. I just put stuff here. It's Ricochet big team. Let's go. How much fun would that be?
If you look at the little update, they're paying a lot of attention to the population in that playlist at the moment. You can see that they're wanting feedback from it as well, because I don't know if that's everything that they're focusing on, but they're definitely looking at the big team playlist. They've been reviewing the weapons, the objectives, and the respawn placements across all the game types. But so that's pretty cool. But the main point I would say for most of the people watching the show are, for players like myself who are in the Throwdown, there was an update here that says, obviously Team Throwdown is Halo 4's premier competitive playlist, featuring settings and maps used at LAN tournaments around the world. As we continue to support this playlist, we are evaluating ways to highlight players who stand out, as we see the playlist as the go-to proving ground for aspiring tournament-level players. While we do not have the specifics nailed down for this effort, we'd like to provide you with some behind-the-scenes visions into what we're looking to do, which include provide consistent updates on Waypoint that identifies, displays, and recognizes top 4v4 talent in this playlist, which is pretty cool. I don't know how they're exactly going to do that, but that does sound pretty cool. And the other one is they're going to feature content, interviews, and other exclusive with top 4v4 players and teams. So for all you Throwdown players out there and all you players who go to events, definitely an excuse to get straight back into that Throwdown playlist, because you could have your interview up on Waypoint.
It's another reason for Europe to move to V5 without question.
Well, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That shows quite a lot of support, for the competitive scene, and the fact that they're going to have things on Waypoint. Again, we don't know what it is yet, because it's all kind of still up in the air. But a couple of other things they mentioned for that playlist was that they'll be changing the name. They've not mentioned what the name's going to be, but they're going to be changing the name in the hope to lure new players to the playlist. I'm not too sure how that's going to work, but that's the plan for Throwdown, which is pretty cool. And the last thing, I'm not going to go in too much in depth because it's huge, but definitely check it out. They spoke to a lot of the players who were at Halo 4 GC, and they spoke to them, about what they thought about the event, what they thought about certain game types, what do they see, what their plans for Halo 4, and it's a really, really good read, so make sure you head over there, check that out. And that, if you're happy with that, Sims, is my state.
Pretty much it. So, as far as Halo 4, Ricochet 4 content, Sean, is that something that you, as a forger, is definitely something interested in? I'm going to be entering?
Yep. Since I'm working on Countdown already, I might as well, set it up for Ricochet and enter the contest. I already put in this many hours into the project. Might as well enter and see how well I can do.
Do you think Countdown would be an appropriate, one of your latest things that you're making at the moment, would that be an appropriate Ricochet map? With it having multiple levels and such things like that, would it be appropriate?
At the end of the day, it's going to depend on the goal location. Obviously, that's something that comes with testing, with time. And then obviously the other half of building a good Ricochet map, I think, is having a solid spawn system. I've seen maps like Haven, which I thought would be awesome Ricochet maps, turn into subpar ones. Initially, when the Ricochet playlist launched, it was really easy to spawn trap people, etc. But they did update it, and it plays a lot better now. So I think general, if it's a good Halo map, it'll be a good Ricochet map, because at the end of the day, I think even though Ricochet is a somewhat unique game type to what we're used to seeing in Halo, it is still at the end of the day, at its core, a Halo game type. So great Halo maps should play great Ricochet.
Very well. Alex, I'm not too up on Call of Duty and how MLG do the playlist, map things, and things like that. Do you guys have a go-to playlist that you can play and practice in online and then go to a tournament and play as well?
So, like, the Call of Duty community before, that was always something that everyone wanted, right? Because it actually came from Halo 3, where the Halo 3 MLG playlist was put into it. And then because the Call of Duty community, for the large part, a lot of them came from Halo, they were just like, oh, we want that. We want that playlist. And that turned out not to be the case. But in Black Ops 1, we did have a playlist. It was Team Hardcore, and it was tailored after competitive settings, right? But the thing was, like, certain things like the the overtime ruling in Call of Duty, which was you had to do the stopwatch overtime, or the two sides for domination. That stuff wasn't actually built into Black Ops 1, although it's built into Black Ops 2. And yeah, so we really don't have like a way to play it, but and we're talking in public match. But there's league play, and league play is based off of the North American or the universal rule set of Call of Duty. Why I should say North American, because it's more based on North American. And yeah, so league play kind of serves as that purpose, and then from there, you know, I mean, again, I don't know where they're going to go with Ghost, but it seems like that same kind of mindset. League play is where it's at for competitors.
So definitely Halo, them making an effort and spending time on a throwdown playlist to use at a universal LAN setting. Do you think that's a good idea then?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it brings in new viewers. I think the first thing that you got to think about is how the league play functionality really benefited Call of Duty, right? Because it kind of just brought everyone together, and I think that the way that they operated it with the seasons and all that was a really cool idea. Although, you know, no season was or is ever as important as a season where competitors are playing for the Call of Duty championships, but I still think it was pretty cool, right? And I think that 343 has a lot of wiggle room here because they're a very creative studio as opposed to Treyarch, and you know, and don't get me wrong, Treyarch, they're a great studio, but they have a very rigorous schedule on what they do, and there's no flexibility and no freedom to do different things. So like what they've pretty much packaged is what it comes with. I view 343 as a little bit more of a as a free studio, right? Because I mean, the Halo 4 Global Championships happening so late into the life cycle of Halo 4 and the Xbox 360 really shows just like the wiggle room that this studio has to be able to produce things. And so yeah, so the way that I look at it is like this: a universal or just a playlist in general is a plus. It's a positive thing. It gets players, you know, competing. I think my only gripe about Throwdown, and the reason why I don't play it, is because of the low population count. And I know when I get in there, I'm going to play against some dude who's been playing Halo for like 50 years, and he's going to thrash me, and then they're going to talk shit after the end of the game. So I'd much rather not deal with that, and I'll probably just play Ricochet or well, they took out Dominion, the bastards. But yeah, so, you know, other than that, I mean, I think it's a positive. They just need to encourage new players to play that playlist, and there needs to be reasons why, and I just don't know if it can happen. So we'll see, though.
Well, that may be, you never know, that may be the idea behind making this playlist more looked at, you know, to give people recognition, to bring people out. People want to play it, like we saw the playlist to get through to the Global Championship. Everyone wanted a piece of that. And fair play, everyone wants a piece of 200k. But if there's more to come out of Throwdown than just playing it, and you actually get something back from 343, whether it be just a shout out on the website, a part in the blog, a post, anything, then there might actually be a reason to want people to play it. And if all goes well and EU finally move on to it, we kind of have unofficially now, but there are still swings and roundabouts as to whether we actually do it. You'll have the Europeans playing in there as well, which is what I've always said we needed to do, but we'll see if that happens if we get I-50. Let's watch this space.
I think a cool thing that they could do, and it's certainly resources and funds that can be allocated, is if they were to give someone an incentive at the end. Like, hey, you are the best throwdown player this season. Oh, you 4 people or whatever. Congratulations, you guys get a custom armor, skin or something like that, right? Like just custom things in the game, because things like that, they go a long way. I mean, look at Call of Duty. People played for a stupid little emblem at the side of their name in public matches to get that top prestige 10. Like that crap means nothing. It just means you wasted so much time doing that for a little graphic, yet people will go above and beyond to make that happen. So I think that if they were to give someone something that is a little bit more tangible, like a piece of armor or something, I think that'll be really cool. I hope that's something that they think about doing, like maybe a custom skin for their gun, like a gold-plated skin. Like I've been trying to tell Quinn to put into the game, and he's like trying to tell me, oh no, we already have the gold-plated. So listen here, Quinn, that's not gold, brother. Gold, it's real gold. You gotta gold the entire thing. Can't just be the top of that shit, So like. That's just what I think. But yeah, so that I think that there's a lot of wiggle room here. And again, 343 is a very creative studio. I think they have the capabilities of doing it.
Good. This is why you're here, man. The ideas you come out with you can save us. You really can.
No. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I think that the problem with Halo, and we can get into this a little bit later. The problem I've been having with the Halo community, it's not necessarily a problem per se, but it's just you guys are so clingy to the old times. It's very reminiscent to the Counter-Strike community and their inability to accept that things move on and you have to attract a bigger audience. And I know everyone wants to keep it so pure to what competitive is, but the sad part is that it's not appealing. It's not appealing. Like if you look at one of the most popular sports in the world in baseball, well, I shouldn't say, baseball is a pretty popular sport. Maybe not the world, but in the United States, baseball is a really popular sport. And it's a very easy sport to play. Like anyone can play it, It's grab a ball, you grab a bat, you hit a ball, you catch it with a glove. It's some pretty simple stuff. It's the layers of skill that come into it. And I think that is something that needs to be looked into and really brought in, and it also does fall onto the developer to do that, right? So there's a lot of back and forth there, but it's just I wanted to see if we were able to do it in Call of Duty, and I mean those are some ignorant ass dudes. If we were able to do it in Call of Duty, it could certainly be done in Halo. That's just what I think.
Okay, well, we're probably going to get to that as far as...
we'll go into that a little later. I ranted, my
what's
bad.
Next? No, it's fine. No, I told you, mate. We are here to listen, and this is what it's all about. Okay, I think that pretty much sums up the Halo button anyway, but we can move on from that. We can move into Ricochet V4 V5. So, yeah, we've got Throwdown V5 coming out soon. Speaking of Eric, I wholeheartedly trust in Eric. In Ghost, I trust. Hamza, are you breaking the chat right there? I can see you breaking the chat on the screen, you fool.
You fool.
You fool. I wholeheartedly, in Eric, I trust wholeheartedly. Eric is a brilliant guy. He is a geniusly minded person. He has done more things, seen more things. He has dreamt more things about Halo than probably what I would ever do in my Halo stroke career or anything on this. But, yeah, V5's coming out. EU has just moved to throwdown settings. Rami has dropped it. It's time to move on. They're not too different. Few people are still trolling about it and crying about it. We'll see what happens. I personally see us going forward with this, but I have no say in it whatsoever. Then we have this bombshell of Ricochet. Now, we all know he has to have another objective to the game. Few people, you will always get people who cry and whinge. But now we have a new game, and this may lead on to what Alex was saying about time for change and things like that. There's even more debate about whether Europe should go to V5. But this isn't necessarily about Europe. This is about Ricochet within V5. And the whole opinion of, is it competitive or not? Now, looking and actually playing Ghost settings, and for everyone who's wondering right now, if you just jump into Ricochet, they're not the exact same settings as what would be played comparatively within Throwdown. Sean, do you want to have a quick... You told me earlier on about the changes that Ghost have made. Do you want to have a quick rundown of the changes that we will be seeing in a competitive Ricochet playlist?
Yep. So the changes that Eric is looking at for V5 for Ricochet are obviously radar's off, just like with the rest of the competitive settings. But past that, there is no auto pickup. You do have to hold B to pick up the ball. And then the waypoint in the Ricochet playlist is always on, but in the competitive settings, as of right now, it's on an option called blip, in which it fades in and out for a second. So you know the general area of where the ball carrier is, but you don't know his exact location. So there's like more, I guess, metagame to, objective movement. And then the other changes are the goals are slightly smaller. I know on Pitfall it's slightly smaller than the one you see in matchmaking. It was decreased in size to encourage more accurate throwing and less of just like, let me throw it in that general direction.
A YOLO throw.
Yeah, exactly. And
I do.
one point of discussion is I'm in a Skype group chat with Eric and some of the other people who are helping out on V5, and we're trying to figure out, is it bad that the ball rolls in so often to the goal? You'll throw it in and it won't go in, and it'll roll for a few seconds, and then it'll have that one final last roll that'll pull it into the goal. That's been a point of concern, but we're kind of split on whether or not the goals should be raised off the ground, which would prevent roll-ins from counting as scores. But it would also require you to jump into the goal, or once you run into the goal, you have to jump up, because the way scoring works is it's where your feet are when you score. So if I just run across the goal and the goal is not touching the ground, that won't count. So that's something that they're looking into. The maps that are primarily being looked at are obviously Pitfall, which is, it has become the staple Ricochet map in Halo 4. And Skyline is another option, but there's concerns because if you know, or most of you probably do know, Skyline has a huge wall on one side of the map, but then the other half of the map is open. So it's easier for one team to clear the ball out of their base, throw it off the map, and it's harder for the other team with the wall on that side. So that's one little hurdle that we're trying to overcome. And then the last map is Simplex that we're looking at, because recently with the Ricochet update, Simplex was a map added to it with the goals in the back of the base on the bottom floor. So those are the three big contenders, other than some other map coming up getting a ton of support. We're probably going to see probably 2 out of those 3 if I had to say.
Okay. Trick, you made a recent video on your thoughts on Ricochet.
Yeah.
After hearing some of the thoughts and reading a bit more into it, seeing what's what, as a European player then, how frightening is it for you that the thought of Ricochet being in V5?
Well, like I said in my video, I'm keeping an open mind about it. I don't want to completely write it off, but there are several things with it that just doesn't seem... I don't know, a lot of pros have said it, and a lot the communities are divided. It's not just the European community as well. If you go into the Beyond forums as well, I've been on there just snooping around. They're quite divided as well of just how competitive it can be, because there is a lot of randomness. And aPK, you touching it, the ball rolling in, it'd be the only objective game type where, let's say, if they're just about to score the flag, but you kill them midair, but the flag lands on it, that flag isn't going to be scored. Or if you're doing an extract and you're right at the last second, but you die, you're not going to get that extract. You have to start again. Whereas with Ricochet, you could be right about to get in because you're trying to walk it in, but somebody kills you, but the ball rolls in and you still get the points, which to me seems a little bit unfair because you died. You failed. You wanted to try and walk it in, and you got caught out and you got killed, but the ball's still going to roll in anyway, so it's still kind of like a bumper. Which I don't know. Again, that just it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem consistent. There's too much, not luck, but it is a bit random. You know, you're just going to be able to, even if you die, it's going to roll in. And the same with the, throwing the ball. It's, I don't know. I think Gandhi touched it on Pit, for example, if Formal and Snipe down. If they get both snipes, they're going to be able to keep one team pinned in, and they're just going to be throwing that ball in from spawn constantly, which again creates a problem. But it is very fun. It's a very, very fun game type. I played it a little bit, and it's fun. But at the moment, for me, I'd prefer it not to be in the settings until it's tested more. That's what I mean about keeping an open mind. Not writing that off at all, but I just feel it needs a lot more testing. Like Gandhi was saying about the 5 second, because, like his example again, going back to having snipe down and Formal, if they've got both snipe control, and it's a 10-second respawn, there's nothing you can do. You're just going to be getting scored on over and over, and the game will be over so quick. Whereas if it's 5 second, you'll die, but you'll spawn again, and you'll have more of a chance. So maybe if it was tested more thoroughly and implemented maybe in V6, because I watched a lot of interviews, so I was really interested to see what the pros were going to say about it. And a lot of the comments, I'm not going to read them all, but Naded, for example, he said he preferred Dispatch Flag to stay, and he doesn't want Ricochet. Neighbor was saying, he's never seen a game type like this in Halo before. He would prefer more effort to be put into an assault game type instead of Ricochet. He sees it as it's like competitive griffball. Gandhi again was somebody asked Gandhi actually about how would you feel casting that in an event? Would it be easy? And his quote was, "I don't know how my excitement would be. You'd have to get Goldenboy in there to do it." So he's a bit unsure on it as well. But with work, maybe. I don't know what you guys think.
It can be fun. I actually played the playlist the other day. So I'm coming down long haul off the pit. I went to go throw this ball straight across, and all of a sudden this guy just jumps up from their flag and just jump pack straight into the ball and just catches it like, yoink, you're not having that. I'm like, where did that son of a bitch come from? And it can be quite fun if you have a team set up properly. The aim is to stop that enemy team, and it's not just by killing them, but it's by getting in the way of that ball as well. Now, Alex, you were talking about time for change earlier on.
Yeah.
You were also mentioning about you don't just play throwdown, you have to play other things as well. Competitive ball. Thoughts on this?
Competitive balls. All right, so
Well,
we're going with that term.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, we can do for now. Competitive balls. We'll go with that.
Competitive balls. I'm down with it. All right. Well, competitive. Wait, you're talking about just Ricochet, just like competitive Ricochet. Okay. I think competitive Ricochet sounds a lot better than competitive balls. But because I don't know if these balls can be competitive. Anyway, seriously though, Ricochet. When I first saw Ricochet at RTX at the 343 panel, and it was crazy to see it. Right, I was just like, this is freaking awesome. Because if there's one thing I always knew about Halo, it was always viewed to me as a sport, right? Like I always viewed Halo more as a sport than like other games, just because of the classic red versus blue, the way that the Spartans looked, all that stuff. So then adding this into it kind of just brings that atmosphere, that I initially believed in to fruition. And I think that Ricochet is a great game type for competitive players. It's a new game type. It's a new experience, right? Because while ball has been, or assault, I should say, has been used in the past, and I think it's cool. I just think this adds like a different spin to it. Makes it a little bit more fast paced, makes it more energetic. I don't know what it is about this game type that separates it from assault. It just feels faster. And I think that is something that they were really trying to aim for. With a name like Ricochet, you expect it to just be fast paced. Now, as far as how you do it, again, I'm not in that rules committee thing that Ghost is going on. I'm not privileged in that nature, like aPK is over here. But seriously, like the way I view it is, it's a new game type. It's something 343 built into the game. Try it. don't just say no, right? Don't be the old guard. Don't just deny things that are new because it's new and it's scary. Try it out, right? There was a new game type that was released for Black Ops 2. It was one flag CTF, which is something that has been in Halo before, right? But it was this time it was implemented in Call of Duty, and the premise was you had to take the flag, but instead of taking it back to your base, you actually had to take it to the opponent's base. And it was pretty cool to watch, but there were some clear problems with it, right? Problems that you could not fix, that Halo can fix because of the way that Halo's designed, Forge mode, and the custom features and all that stuff. There were awful spawn problems, and you could really just lock a team into one side of the map and keep relaying flags in. It really sucked. And I think that with Ricochet and the way that this community approaches it, why can it not be a competitive game type if it is tailored and adjusted properly, right? That is the one thing that you guys have over all the other communities, all the other, I shouldn't say all, but definitely over Call of Duty. So looking at Ricochet, there is no reason why it should be, one, tested, because you should always at least test the damn thing before you say no. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Seriously. That's just like, new game type, hate it. Why? What's the point, right? What's the point? Just test it out, see if it works. Chances are it's going to work and I think Halo can do something to freshen it up just a tad, in my personal opinion. And I think Ricochet is that game type, honestly. I think it is something fresh and new that could really benefit Halo 4 competition. I mean, I would love to be able to sit there and cast a freaking 4v4 Ricochet game on Haven or Skyline or whatever, and just go absolutely nuts when they get that final goal and they lob it across, and guy tries to go for the interception, can't quite make it, he misses it because he didn't press the X button, and it falls right into the goal, and it's a win, right? That is some cool shit, and I don't see a reason why not to do it. So honestly, if Ricochet is not in V5, I will be very, very disappointed, because I feel like that's a step forward, and not putting it in there is a step backward. And it shows 343 that we're looking at what they're putting in and we're actually caring about it. So just my 2 cents.
And if all that doesn't faze you, just listening to Alex cast a game of Ricochet is more than enough for me to actually put it in V5. It would be awesome.
Dude, that'd be fun. It
would be actually enjoyable. I think more than anything, that's what people forget that it is. It'd actually be enjoyable to watch, and it'd be actually fun, rather than the whole greasy, sweaty, burning it out and just smashing each other. It'd actually be quite fun as well and enjoyable. Probably both to play competitive and more than to watch. I'd love to watch a game of it at home watching AGL. I'd love to watch two top teams going at it in that. I just think it would be enjoyable, and so long as Ghost, and we know Ghost and the team are working on it, have faith, trust in what Eric does, I think we'll get a damn good game type, and I certainly will be one for supporting it. Even as it plays now, I enjoy it. Let's see what happens. So then, moving on from that, this, again, we can kind of go on to the, we're going along here. So, title update 2. We have heard rumours that we are going to be getting a title update 2 soon. Heaven knows what's going to be coming from that. No one knows that the whole generation are coming back of no sprint, de-scope, all the same shit that we usually hear, blah, 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 rock and roll. It's tough shit. Sprint's going to be in for the foreseeable future as far as I'm concerned, unless they turn around and change every single map and whatever. Bollocks. There's not what we can do about it. But, yeah. Alright. Sean, starting off for you. Title update 2. Serious changes to Halo 4, but serious doable changes. So let's ignore D-Scope, let's ignore Sprint. Other changes that you think Halo 4 would benefit from. Seriously.
Alright, so I'm one of those people that thinks things like Spread and Bloom just hurt the game. They're like unnecessary additions, and those type of things, in my opinion, or at least in the way that they've been added to Halo. They've been added to encourage depth in gameplay, but they've only hurt gameplay. So things like the bloom on the DMR, no one realistically paces their DMR, so I'd rather see a capped rate of fire where the bloom is a non-factor. So, you know, like strip away the bloom, cap off the rate of fire, and then, you know, just bring it within balance of the BR, because at the moment, I don't think the DMR is really a weapon that has a place in competitive right now, just because I think the BR does everything it does but better, unless you're like shooting across. Is there even a map that's big enough where it makes a difference? Trying to think.
Not
Maybe if you're
really.
shooting like, yeah, there's no situation in competitive play where the DMR is an interesting option. So I think that alongside with all the other primary weapons, I think it'd be nice and refreshing to have all the guns be more difficult to shoot, whether it's reducing those red reticle ranges or just overall reducing the auto aim levels across the board. I think at this point, um, anything that freshens up what we primarily use when you play Halo, you're going to be using a BR, a DMR, an assault rifle. If those things are too easy or monotonous, you know, you're going to get tired of the game. There's no challenge. It's, you know, you get on, you grind a few games, and you're just like, all right, this isn't fun. But for example, I'll hop on to Reach maybe like once every 2 weeks and play some MLG. And I know the game gets a lot of flack, but shooting in that game actually feels like really good and really challenging, especially coming from Halo 4. Shooting at range is plenty difficult, and obviously some of that can be attributed to D-scope, but a lot of it is those auto aim levels, which I don't think a lot of people truly grasp how much impact they have on how easy it is to shoot. So auto aim, auto aim is a huge issue for me,
Auto
but
aim's
you know,
huge in Halo 4.
yeah, yeah. Realistically, I'd just like to see everything buffed a tad bit again. Obviously, at this point, they've been buffed pretty well, but it just needs that one more final push to get things feeling super clean. Even with the update, I still feel like sprint can be a hindrance, and you can see it throughout competitive matches. What else? The sniper. So a huge thing with snipers is that two snipers maps become basically, you know, team sniper game types. We've seen like dispatch CTF where a team gets control of two snipers. It's just, you know, it's an uphill battle that you can't overcome. And we might be seeing the same thing once Pitfall is around. That's going to have two snipers. So, I mean, anything they can do to make the sniper more difficult, you know, I'm just like really tired that, you know, everyone and their grandma can basically headshot any player, and it's just, we need something to counteract the accessibility that no descoping breeds.
So harder to aim, basically. Harder to aim, harder to hit shots. Yeah, I'm down for that, definitely. I think out of everything that I want to see, and I don't know how hard this is going to be, I'd just love to see the flag bounce come back. That's something I hope comes back. Oh, God, I'd love to see flag bounce come back one of these days. I'd really appreciate it. So, Trick, what do you want to see from the next title update? What do you fancy seeing?
Well, I'm always going to ask for, you know, D-scope and no sprint and stuff like that, but we're not allowed to talk about that. The stuff I would like to see is maybe the Magnum be a little more powerful.
Yes.
Maybe buff that a little bit.
Yes.
The auto aim on the snipe needs to just be dropped so far. I landed Halo 3, I think, last weekend, and when you go back to that game, and the auto aim in that game is so much less than it is on 4. Like, I picked up the sniper, I'm like, don't worry guys, I got this, and I'm shooting just no way near him. You know, the auto aim took me a while to get used to it. But, you know, you mix that in when you finally do get used to it, and you're pulling off some, like, no-scopes and stuff, it feels really good, whereas on 4, I don't know, anytime I go into, like, a battle on 4, like a 1v1 battle, and I've got a BR and they've got the snipe, I always feel like if I kill them, then they choke, because they should have killed me. Even if it's outside of medium range, because the auto aim to no scope, you know, in Halo 4 is just so much easier because of the auto aim and that. I'm a fan of the light rifle. I don't know, maybe
That thing's...
Maybe could
we're seeing
increase the
that
rate
a
of fire
lot
again
more,
just a little bit, because it's really good. I really do like that. Obviously, you know, flag running and stuff, that'd be super cool to see that stuff back. And I know obviously Goldenboy mentioned
The
about.
one thing about that light rifle, though, more than anything, I must say, is I've been playing it a while. I don't know if Station 9's obviously going to be in the next V5, but when having two light rifles, one on yellow, one on green, you're actually giving a specific setup that you can arm at green, pick up light rifles at yellow, and you can sit top med and yellow, and you can look across, and that feels, with those guns, it just feels
you can bully
like
people with those guns.
you really can. It does actually feel like a solid setup. Like I always quote it, the lockout setup from Halo 2, B1, B2, B3, window, and looking down below. There's the lockout kind of setup, the strat. So you get there and looking across those light rifles. They're really, really dangerous. I mean, that first guy coming into his own in, oh god, what was the map? Wait, Lockdown? Was that the map? Is that what it was called? The square one? Oh. We had the stairs at the back of each map. We played it at EGL.
Oh, I think it is locked
Oh
down.
yeah,
Yeah, it's locked down,
you
isn't
just
it?
stayed in your
Yeah.
base.
You stayed in there. You could just do the spend tactic. You could just sit in that base, and you could just ping people
Stat.
off. Just be a stat whore pinging that. It's a great weapon, and whether that comes into, like you say, having a little bit more of a harder to hit, but a stronger gun, so when you do hit it, bang, that shit's going to hurt. You know, that is really, really going to hurt you across map. Anything else that you're fancying for the...
Just, I was just going to say, I know Goldenboy said we need to sort of be willing to adapt and stuff, and that is great, but I would love to see it be a little bit more traditional, because those things did work, and there was a reason, you know, they made Reach and no bloom, no sprint in the end, because it does work. It'd be nice to see de-scoping taken out and be able to, you know, actually flag run, because that is a skill. It does separate you. If you're good at that, it separates you from the players who aren't good at that. And again, with no sprint, it'd be cool to see those things back. I would really want them back, and I'm always going to say I really want them back. But again, I don't have too much of an issue with sprint. It's mainly to do with the amount of, there was a core of about 10, 15 of my friends who played like Halo 2 and 3 really hardcore and, you know, land a lot. And then they just, I'm the only one left now in 4 because they just can't get used to, you know, sprint and things like that. So it'd be great if we could make it a little bit more like classics, maybe bring some older players back while still appease to the new generation, if that's possible.
See what happens. Alex, kind of a, I don't want to call it weapon tuning B2, but Halo 4 overhaul then, the second coming. Is there anything major changing within the game and the durability of the game? Any major changes you'd like to see, which you think would both improve the game, play, and the enjoyability of it?
Spectator mode, but no, I'm kidding. So, what? Here's the thing, right? So when I talk about like adapting, I'm not necessarily referring to accepting things like, you know, no descope and whatnot, right? What I'm mainly referring to is, you know, like I'm talking mainly about like game types that are being presented and maps and all that stuff. But my belief is this: in this new update, I mean, I don't know how far this update's going to go. I mean, what they're going to do. For all we know, they could end up doing a Reach, you know, a Halo Reach again, and just put the things that people want in the game as like features, just to see if people dig it, like they did with Reach when they removed the sprint and when they removed the bloom, right? They could end up doing that with descope. I mean, for all you know, right? This could be like that patch that just puts those things in there. Say like, okay, do people really care about this? Is this really going to help our numbers? Oh, okay, it actually did, or oh, it didn't. You know, that could be what this title update is. But honestly, I think it's probably just going to be like more housekeeping, balancing, things like that. That's just a realistic thing that I'm thinking of. Yeah. So as far as things I would personally like to see, I mean, I think that going back to the Halo 3 really is what I would like to highlight, or Halo 2 even, but Halo 3 to be more current gen, I think would benefit quite a bit. You know, like honestly, I think Halo 4 was a game that lacked its own identity when Halo had so much identity, right? Halo just had so much of a brand, right? A unique brand. It played in such a unique way that no other first-person shooter on the market really plays like anymore. You know, everything's all about aiming down the sight, you know, being a military shooter, everything's brown, you know, I mean, but Halo was that game that was always just so unique in that aspect. And then what they did was they approached this system that they thought worked. They thought that this was the system that people wanted to play now, and I think that was just a bad call. And 343 is seeing that. They see that. So if they do something with this title update, I think it's probably going to be more of a testing ground for what's to come with Halo 5. Don't know if that's going to be the case. Could be, you know, it could be a housekeeping update, like I said before. But if they're announcing a title update and they're being very coy about it and they're not trying to put out too much information, because they could easily have just said, yeah, we're gonna have a new title update, just clean up some shit. You know, that would have been easy. That would have been, you know, one and done. But they seem to be coy about it. So that means that there could be something in there that could maybe shape the way that the game is played moving forward. So we'll see what happens. I'm stoked. Like, everyone that doubts 343 moving into Halo 5, you really shouldn't, because I've been talking with that team so much. It's like, I'll say this again for the people that are in here. 343, the team that made Halo 4, is not the same team that is working on Halo 4 right now. They're not. They've learned so much. They've changed so many of their ways. It's just a completely different team that is so community focused. And before, when they were making Halo 4, I mean, you have to think about it like this. This studio was a startup, right? It was a small studio of like maybe 20 or 30 people that then built, and then overnight just built into this massive studio. And there's just so many things that can happen wrong in that instance, you know, that I'm surprised didn't completely ruin Halo 4. So I think now the studio, the team, they know like what they can do right, what they did wrong, and how they're going to improve upon it. And who knows, maybe this title update is going to be a reflection of that. We'll have to wait and see.
Fair play. Say no more. That is, yeah, I agree with you in the fact that it might just be, like you say, a clean-up kind of thing. Whether there's alt major, we had the BR changes. We know none of the stuff that people want, the serious stuff, what people bang on about, can't happen in it. What don't seem to be able to happen to Halo 4 without having a major shift within the game. And it's whether that's just got to wait for Halo 5. But I think out of all this, I agree with you. They do listen. You know, I've spoke to Quinn. I never in a million years, I didn't even know who Quinn was until he actually messaged me direct. And I've spoke to him on nothing major, but just even from someone from outside, you know, a 343 speaking to someone who's just doing videos from communities. They do listen. They do. Eric speaks to me all the time on what's going
receptive.
on. They really are. They want to know what they've done wrong. They want to know how to make things better. I trust them with Halo 5. I really do, and I think we can see Halo back to where it used to be when Halo 5 comes out. Who knows? No one knows. We'll see what happens. So, from that one, this kind of is actually going to lead... It's all leading on tonight. You see where we're going with this one. By the way, if anybody has got any questions for Goldenboy or aPK, just Trick's Twitter on there, at 77Bowman. You can see it below his face. Any questions, hashtag B2B18. Give him a question. We'll fire him at the end. We've got a couple. Anything you want to know within reason. As always, be respectful. Fire him at Trick. Trick will drop them down. We'll ask him at the end. So, moving on then. Alex, I'm going to let you run off with this one. We're going to do a very, very quick Global Championship recap. So, within 5 minutes, Global Championship, your point of view, your stand on it, Alex. From being there, just say what you think.
Okay, 5 minutes. So at 6:25, I have to shut up. Okay, here we go. Halo Global Championships was awesome. When going into it, I was really reluctant because I had a lot of jobs offered to me before the Global Championships. And, you know, I just thought about it. I was like, man, you know, I had a job from MLG to do their event. I turned that one down. I had a job from Ubisoft. I turned that one down. And I think there was one more, and I forgot. And the pay, just so you guys understand here, the pay for that one was for the other events were really good, right? But I just thought, man, I really love Halo, and I think that this is going to be awesome. Now, I turned everyone down, and I just thought, you know what, something tells me this is going to be an epic event. And then I went into like the planning with Bravo, and he told me about it. He's like, dude, we have like the craziest thing. I don't know what happened, but Microsoft just took over this whole process. The production's going to go insane. It's going to be madness, and you're going to do this with me, and this is the situation. And he told me about the Xbox Live dashboard, and this was, like I turned everyone down, and then I found this out. So it wasn't like I, turned everyone down because I found out I was going to be on the Xbox Live dashboard. That actually wasn't the case, and I was just so freaking blown away by just the production value that they put into this. And I think that there were a few things that they could have done a tad bit better, like, the timings and the switches of the players and the transitions. But honestly, man, it was like a spectacle, right? It was just like this massive show. One of the coolest things that I will never forget was when they brought the camera in, showed the crowd, and then they showed the Spartans like waving their hands up and down. And I think like that will always resonate with me because I have been a Halo fan for years. I mean, I can actually show you guys. I have a couple books here. I mean, this is like one of my favorite Halo novels. Like I read the books. Like I am engrossed into Halo culture, man. Like I freaking love Halo.
Check this out.
Yeah, and I have a couple more here. I don't know where they are. My wife may have burned them because I read them so much. No, but seriously, like it was just insane. It was great. Now, going back to some of the things I felt like were a little off with this event was the Friday and Saturday broadcast. I felt like they really shouldn't have done that, or if they did, it should have been done a different way. But again, I didn't know about this going into it. So if I would have known, I definitely would have like told them, hey, this is how you should do it. This is how you should present it. And I think they had like a good idea of it. And it really did rely a lot on me and Andy being there. But unfortunately, we just couldn't, and the internet was not 343's fault. That was actually the venue. The venue provided a very weak connection to 343, and they didn't know. And, they were doing everything that they possibly could to make it better, but, it is what it is. What's done is done. Oh, wait a minute. Someone's judging me on Cold Protocol. I got Fall of Reach right there, bro. I will slap. I got Fall of Reach. Hold on. Wait, and I have Ghost of Onyx. Yeah, don't mess with me, brother. I would. Anyway, so seriously, just looking at it, it was great. It was really fun, and the players I think really enjoyed it, and I think everyone kind of just saw the bigger picture. They saw, and Microsoft saw the bigger picture because I'll give you guys a little tidbit, man. When I walked out of casting that, and everyone was like so happy, they just came up to me and they were like, we're doing this again, just like straight up, just like big wigs at Microsoft, production companies, these guys just saying we're doing this again. I was like, what do you mean? And they didn't give anything more. They were just like, we're doing it again, expect a phone call. And that was it, and Ooh. It's just like, I don't know what it means. I don't know what's that building toward, but you have to look at it as 343 is right now trying to build the appropriate relationships to make something happen down the line, right? This was the precursor to amazing things to come. Everyone is getting on the esports bandwagon. All these studios. I was out in Europe with Gamescom for EA doing Battlefield 4. They have a spectator mode. Battlefield has a spectator mode. It has no business with a spectator mode, but it has a spectator mode. Like, you have to think about that, right? More studios are starting to grasp that competitive gaming is the future, right? It is the new buzzword, right? And I am very glad to be a part of it because, in the front lines, because I see like these studios, they're now deferring to the top players and looking at what works and what doesn't work. And these are the kinds of things that we needed. These are the things that I fought so hard for back in the Call of Duty 2 days when I'm yelling at Infinity Ward when they released COD 4. Why the hell didn't you put LAN in? Now these things aren't going to be a problem anymore. And you have to think that with esports, with competitive gaming, I should say, becoming more of a buzzword, how is that going to affect the games that are going to be developed, right? And if I think about Halo 5, I think we're in pretty good hands because not only do we have Quindo Hoyo, who is one of the reasons why Gears of War 3 spectator mode happened, right? I mean, Pete Nubb was one of the main reasons, but Quindo Hoyle was he was the voice, right? Or he was I would say, the facilitator between the community, and these guys are saying, hey, listen, we need this. We need this to make it awesome. And they put it in, and it was great, right? What's not to say that won't happen again? You know, Quinn is that kind of guy that he will make it happen. He loves I talk to Quinn a lot. He's a good friend. He loves competitive gaming. He loves everything. And I bug him all the time. I'm like, so when am I getting my spectator mode? When can I host online tournaments? And he looked at me, he was like, I know. You know, like gives me that look every time. So I think, and I know I'm going over my time here, but I think that there is just so much to be hopeful for. The Halo 4 Global Championship was just the beginning. And if you are a fan of Halo, you know, you could be bitter, you could be angry about Halo 4, all you want. I don't care. Go ahead. But just know that the future is bright, and that's coming from a guy who comes from Call of Duty. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's there. So just be positive. For once in your damn lives, be positive. And that's it. So, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Okay, Sean. You got to move on after that one, bro. That's going to be hard to follow up on.
Yeah.
So,
oh, see, now I feel like a dick. See, like, that's not what I want.
all right, so I got to experience Halo 4 Global Championship as a spectator and sort of as like a media type person, you know, doing stuff for Beyond. You know, as Alex said, Friday and Saturday weren't up to, you know, our expectations, but you know, part of that was inexperience, and then part of that was obviously the internet issue. I believe I forgot who it was that told me, but they would have had to have spent tens of thousands of dollars each day to get like a truck for better internet. But yeah, on to Sunday. Sunday was actually really cool, especially because as a media VIP person, we got to sit up in the balconies, and by chance we got to sit in the one closest to the stage. And being up there, and just I could like look down at the crowd and see like everyone, the entire auditorium, and it was something else. Like I know it's easy to be biased since I was there, but I honestly think that was the best esports event I've ever seen, from production to the atmosphere. All the supplemental like content things they did, the videos they played in between. Obviously, Major Nelson did a great job hosting the event. But yeah, as Alex said, it's definitely a precursor of what's going to come. I 100% believe, almost to the point where I can guarantee it. There will be, you know, 4v4 tournaments run on their behalf. I honestly believe that.
That's so cool.
They were just so like the looks on their faces as the tournament was going on and after it was over, like you could just tell they were just there's no word to explain the looks on their faces. I mean, they loved it. They honestly loved it. Within a span of a weekend, they were convinced, they were hooked. I mean, we probably turned a lot of people into competitive gaming fans just over that one weekend. And there's going to be more to come, and I know a lot of people hate when people just say, you know, they get it, trust them, but honestly, you know, we've already gotten confirmation that, you know, there's dedicated servers, 60 frames per second, which in my opinion are some of the top, those are some of the top things I've wanted in Halo for a long time. And then obviously
they're pretty huge, aren't they, for Halo?
They really are a huge thing. They really will take us to the next step, because along with that, in spectator mode, which has been basically confirmed without saying like 100% it's confirmed. I mean, Frankie mentioned it, and obviously, you know, Quinn, he understands. Like he brought it to Gears, like Alex said. He knows. Like if Halo 5 were to ship without a spectator mode, I mean,
then I have no faith.
Yeah,
I have no faith
we'd
after
be in some alternate universe. It's coming. But yeah, spectator mode and dedicated servers are definitely going to step up what we can do in between tournaments and leading into tournaments. I mean, the amount of interest we can generate with those two tools is just unbelievable.
It really is, isn't it? I know we know we've already got the dedicated servers now. We know we've already got the 60 frames per second coming in. Get that spectator mode. Fair enough, there's failings in the game that can be fixed, but
Yeah.
you know, you get those three. you're on to a winner straight away.
Yeah,
Could I-
it makes
could I
it
just say
easier for
something?
companies to run events with spectator mode
Yeah.
because it doesn't cost them as much.
Well, I just wanted to say in regards to 60 frames per second. So, you know, again, I was at Gamescom with Battlefield, right? And you guys know Battlefield runs 30 frames and on console, and it looks decent, right? But when I got my hands on that PlayStation 4 controller and I played 60 frames per second Battlefield 4, I was like, oh, this is the shit. And then I immediately turned around to my friend who also was like a Halo guy, and I was like, dude, I can't wait for 60 frames Halo. Like that, they should just call it Halo 60 frames. That's like they should just call it that. It's gonna be so sick. Because 60 frames in Call of Duty, the reason why they're able to push 60 frames because that engine is like 10 years old. So they're able to push 60 frames per second on it, and and do that because it's a very weak engine. That's why all the games kind of look the same. Again, they look good, but they look the same. And Halo, they're always trying to like push the Xbox 360 to the limits and yada yada. If they pull off that 60 frames, which they are with the new Halo, I am just gonna be. You guys are gonna freaking love that shit. It's gonna be a revolution in how you play games. You're never gonna want to go back again. You're gonna look at Halo 3 and be like, oh my god, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee you.
And like to go off of that, another thing, and I just thought of this, is one of the biggest issues, even though we might never think about it or realize it, with Halo 4 is the inability to play split screen efficiently. And like Halo has always been talked about as the game. You have friends over, you get on the couch, you eat some pizza and you play split screen, right? But I guess that's something we don't have the ability to do in Halo 4. And with 60 frames per second, even if, and I'm hoping that there wouldn't be frame rate issues, even if there were frame rate issues, we wouldn't be going down from we wouldn't be going from 30 down to something like 25 or 20, which is pretty bad to the human eye. We would be going from something like 60 to 40, and 40 is obviously a lot more tolerable than even 30. So that's one huge thing that could help Halo become more of a accessible game for more people, because like we've all done it. We've had friends over, or we've been at a friend's place, and you just turn on Halo and you play split screen and you just dick around, and that hooks people. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I got my way into Halo playing split screen Halo at someone else's house. So I mean, without that functionality, I don't think I would have ever ended up at Halo, or at least not. I wouldn't have been as involved as I ever have become. Yeah.
Okay, Trick, your turn. What's next then?
Well, it'd be great. I mean, these guys both seem to have a lot of faith that there's going to be another, Halo 4 GC, which if they do, that'd just be amazing. Because, I mean, Sims, I don't think you've been to America to watch an MLG, have you?
No, I haven't. It's something
No,
I think
that's-
I'll just to break you off one sec. I know you started there, but that's the one thing that I found about Global Championships. It was late over here, so I went to bed, had it on my iPhone. Wife's asleep. I'm sat there, headphones in, and watching it. I felt like I was 16 again in my bedroom, in front of the PC, Friday night, MLG VOD and Halo 2. Yeah. That's exactly how I felt sat at home.
Staying up so late watching it, but
I know
I've never got to go to one. I've been to lots of European events, and they're okay, but they're nowhere near the MLG standard. So when we watched over here MLG, we were like, wow, this is amazing. But then when we watched Halo 4 GC, I was like, Jesus, this is just incredible. It's like you said, everything, presentation, the stream quality. On the Sunday, I know on the Friday, Saturday, they couldn't help it. On the Sunday, and the stuff that they had going on in between, the player interviews, the entrances, everything was just amazing. I'm completely blown away with it. And that 1v1 final, I think I was so nervous, especially when Pistola was like he's 1 kill up and just knocked him down, and and then he jumped out. I was like, oh my god, what is going on?
The first time I've ever heard Alex scream.
He was just crazy. He was absolutely crazy. But that's the kind of stuff that you used to get that feeling watching MLG, and with like Final Boss v Instinct and that kind of stuff, or if you go way back like Carbon v FB, or Straight Ripping v Triggers Down, you used to get that excited watching those like best of 11s, and we've not had that in Halo for ages. So to see that, it really did sort of bring me back. And if they can carry that on, if they do another tournament, whether it's FFA or 2v2 or 4v4, I'm sure it'll be amazing if they do it just like they did for the first one.
They've proved what they can do now. I think that's the dangerous thing. They've shown what they can do, and people would bitching like hell about the first few days. But it's tough shit. There's nothing they could do about it. They tried doing whatever they could. Ghost kept coming on. Credit to yourself, Alex, who kept sending me tweets about what the Europeans were doing. Keeping in touch. It's people.
Yeah, man, I ran around for that, dude. I was like so confused. And then that one guy was wearing his boy's jersey, and I'm just like, all right, this guy's in it. And you're like, that can't be. I'm like, wait, I feel stupid. I gotta go. Like,
Oh, we've got to retire us. Yeah, no. So, but again, that was that shows a community clubbing together to help people out. It was tough shit. The internet was crap. What they did on the finals just made up for everything. It was unbelievable. I can't imagine what it was like sitting there watching it, playing it or casting it, let alone just sitting at home and watching it. It really was unreal. It would have been amazing. I know it didn't get there. Would have been amazing if Gunnar had made it into that final.
Oh,
To
yeah.
say,
I was rooting for Perry. I really thought Perry would get far.
See a European, a European goat in there would have been amazing. But Gunnar top 16, Zyrus top 32. Better than nothing. We got to top 16.
I really thought the EU was gonna have a guy in like in the finals.
Yeah, we thought Perry were gonna. There's a guy called Perry who now plays for High Society. Quite a lot of people truly believe because he was sponsored to go over there regardless. He qualified online, then he went to Gamescom, and he qualified at Gamescom on day one as well. So he qualified online and qualified at Gamescom. So he won. So it's like, yeah, we've really got something good. And then I think poor guy ended up getting round one, if I'm not mistaken.
He's so good at FFA.
He is. He's unbelievable. He was our EGL 9 champion. He's the only guy that I've ever. EGL, didn't he get a in the finals? He got like
he won. He beat. Didn't
No,
he beat
he
Ninja?
won, but
Ninja came over here. He beat Ninja.
He beat Ninja, but he got I think it was a Kilimanjaro in the finals. It was unbelievable. It wasn't. I don't think it was caught on stream, but it was. So it's surprising that he didn't do better. But regardless, Gunnar top 16. Well done to that guy, big time.
Yeah.
It was. There's no words to describe it, really. You guys have nailed it on the head with what you're saying. And we say what's next. Regardless of what is next, it excites me to think what could be next. Because of what they've shown that they can do with the capabilities and the equipment. And they've shown they can do it, that's the bad thing. And they don't even have to better themselves. They just have to do what they did before. They know, like with the
if they can
the
emulate
internet.
that again.
Yeah, exactly. A little thing like they know what the internet. So there's no way that they're going to go into it and saying, "Have you got internet? We need internet. This internet's got to be good." That's one thing that they're going to fix for next time. They're not going to go into any hotel without it having suitable internet and just little things. But yeah, it was unbelievable, and it will be disappointing. And I tweeted this out straight away. I tagged Ace in it, but I would actually like to see Ace defend his title. That's something that I would like to see now. He is the global champion. But like I mentioned it the other week in his Twitter. His brother had been the national champion forever.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a champion forever. Someone comes and knocks that title. His younger brother has taken that title off of him. He can't have that title forever. It would be great for them to do another one of those to see if anyone can take that title off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Who sees? It could be a 2v2, could be a 4v4. Either way, with that level of production, who gives a shit? It was a show. It really was. It was a show. And to all the haters that hated it, don't want FFA, don't want FFA, bullshit. You can't do that level of global tournament on a 4v4 standard. You can't be entering Throwdown over and over again and getting all these places. You probably could, but it'd be a damn shite harder than what it was. You can get FFA, you go into a playlist, you fight for your place. It's as simple as that, and you see the leaderboards. Running up to that was just everything from start to finish. From hearing the announcement, it seems 5 minutes ago since we were 10, 15 episodes back announcing the 500k tournament on Back to Basics. It's gone so quick. But for me, Alex, you're saying they said they'd do it again. It's whether they do it again for Halo 4 or whether they wait to do something spectacular at the start with Halo 5.
Yeah.
That'll be the
Did
interesting.
you see that interview with Frank O'Connor?
I haven't, no, fortunately.
He mentioned right after the event that they're looking at keeping on supporting Halo 4 up until 5 comes out. He didn't say how, but he said they need to keep it alive. So
We'll see.
I
See.
think if they do another one, see, so here's how I view it, right? Halo is Microsoft's baby, and Microsoft will not allow Halo to die. So for anyone who is doubting whether or not Halo is going to get the support, I really wouldn't, because of, you know, just the fact that Microsoft knows, like, this is their fighting chance going into the next generation, right? And this goes beyond just competitive gaming, beyond Ace's win, beyond what we're doing here, beyond. Right, that was a good one. That was for
I like it.
Yeah, I like her. I said like 5 times. So no, but this does really go farther than that, right? Microsoft right now needs to position themselves in the living room. They need to position themselves, at an advantageous position going into 2014 against Sony. So they know one of their big gets is Halo, right? And Halo being their baby, they are going to give it the star treatment. So with that said, you can only imagine that they're going to continue to support competitive Halo 4, because they know that this is the audience that is, one, still playing Halo, and it's a growing fad, right? Competitive gaming. So if they do another event for Halo 4, I think that'll be awesome. And I also think that they're going to use this event to reveal stuff about Halo 5. So I would expect something either not before the Xbox One is released, unfortunately. I think we're going to get something after the Xbox One has been released. And it's more, and does that make a lot of sense? I don't know, but they could easily just release Halo 4 on the Xbox One. Like, they could release like the digital download thing. Like, I mean, again, I don't know the logistics behind it, whether they can do that, but I would imagine that's something that they could feasibly do. Now, in regards to just the game in general, 343 still has to sustain Halo 4, so they are going to support it in that regard. And I do believe that, again, ignore that shit I was saying before about the, them releasing on Xbox One. I think it's still going to be just all Xbox 360 100% of the time, because Microsoft's also trying to promote that, hey, guys, we are still caring about the Xbox 360. We're not going to do what we did with the Xbox, where we just completely canned production on every single game and just said, all right, fuck you, moving on to the 360. No, they're trying to run with this approach that the Xbox 360 is, or the Xbox brand is like a brand that can appeal to a wide majority of individuals. So if you notice, they did the redesign for the Xbox 360. They have that, it looks similar to the Xbox One. So a lot of these things, right? A lot of these things really add up. They stack up into the fact that, yes, there is going to be another event for Halo 4. And yes, this is going to be a launching pad for Halo 5. How that's done, when it's done, I don't know. But I expect something either before going into the new year or shortly after. And that's my train of thought. If you're looking at it from a business perspective, that makes the most sense. Again, is it going to happen? Yes, I'm 100% confident that they're going to do another event, but the time frame, I'm just not entirely sure. And the way that they're going to do it is exactly as I described. If they don't do it that way, I would be shocked. But that's just my train of thought.
Okay. When we do get that announcement, we'll surely be keeping on top of it and watching it from here. Yeah. Right. Okay then. So we're going to move on from that one. I think we've done it pretty well. What we are going to throw together, what we plan to, regardless of whether we've got something announced at Christmas or not, on the show, and I'm going to get a few people on. We're going to do a Christmas wish list. We're going to do what we want to see for Halo 5. We're going to club a load of people together live on here, and we're going to run down what we want to see for Halo 5. Again, 343, always listen. Have a constructive criticism. Even if we can even bring Sprint into there, for the love of God, dare I say it. But yeah, we're going to have I've already spoken to Sean about this. We're going to do a Christmas wish list and talk about what we want for Halo 5, but that's coming later on in the year. Right now, moving on, final topics. Mr. Trick has been, if you've got any questions, this is the time to throw them. Don't put them in the chat. At them, at 77 Bowman, up there, Mr. Trick77. At him with a hashtag B2B18. Questions for aPK and Goldenboy. Trick, first one, fire away, my friend.
Alright, the first one is just for aPK about Countdown, and it was: did you remake Countdown just for fun, or do you feel it can make it into the competitive settings?
Alright, so I remade Countdown because, well, first of all, it's a really good map in my opinion. It's one of my favorite 4v4 maps. I think a lot of people have they have a sour taste in their mouth from Reach as a whole just because you know how it played for the first year. But Zero Bloom, No Sprint, 4v4, CTF on Countdown was some of my favorite 4v4 Halo. Um,
That and
I
Zealot
never,
were awesome.
yeah. I never made it with the intention of trying to get it into competitive settings. Um, my I guess intent was personally I've found Forge to not be a challenge anymore. I used to Forge all the time. In Reach, I think I went back and counted and I had like 36 different map projects that I had. Um, I used to forge like constantly, and in Halo 4, and even towards the end of Reach, I stopped forging because it stopped being a challenge for me. So I saw Countdown, and I was like, if I tried to remake this in Halo 4, could I even accomplish it? Because, as you guys all know, Countdown is like a multi-leveled map, and in Forge you manipulate pieces. You don't just like you don't build a map from the ground up. So there's like a lot of thought, a lot of effort that I have to put in to make sure that, you know, first of all, that the map is buildable and it can be completed. So for the most part, it was a personal challenge, not so much to bring back a map that was competed on for competition in Halo 4. So yeah.
Just a really quick side note on that one. Don't quote me on this. I'm pretty sure sure it's him that did say it. I spoke about I've always pushed for your Sanctuary map to be put in because I think it's an awesome remake. But am I right? And this is something I heard it. Whether Eric said it or not, don't quote me. But you never actually want to see that in a playlist or never intended it for a playlist. Is that right?
All right. So when I released that map, there was a lot of people that wanted it to be in competitive settings, and I flat out said on the Beyond forums, I do not want it in competitive settings. And I had the same discussion with Eric later on. My reason was, and a lot of people give me flack for this, I wanted forgers who work on like original pieces, original maps. They put a lot of time and effort into those things, and for us as a community to constantly depend on forged remakes or forged reiterations of the same midship styled map, it's kind of a slap in the face to all those forgers who put in a ton of work. So I thought, and I used to be like one of those forum kids that used to preach that we should be using original works, things like that. So I thought it would be completely hypocritical of me to push for my remake to be in those settings. So yeah, I had that talk with both the community and Eric personally.
Fair enough then. Say no more. That answers my question. Mr. Trick, carry on.
Question here for Goldenboy was, can we expect to see you coming over to Europe to cast the Halo event?
I-50, I'm assuming?
Yeah, if we get I-50.
If we get it. We haven't been given EGL 11. We've been dropped from that, fortunately. But there's no confirmation. It does look promising. I spoke to the guys afterwards, and we nailed everything we needed to do, but it's not confirmed yet, but it would be I-50.
Yeah, well, I mean, going to Europe's always fun. If they reach out to me and we could strike a deal, I will most certainly do it. It's just a matter of whether or not they will strike a deal with me. I'm always willing to do it. And the other thing too, it's going to Europe, it's costly, and this is my job. This is what I do full time. I work for Kotaku, producing videos, and I, commentate. Like, this is what I do, and thankfully my wife is a teacher. Otherwise, if I was just waiting, I'd be a poor motherfucker. But, but yeah. So, in all honesty, I would love to do that. Hopefully, that is something we could talk about. I mean, I can say.
Sit with me, bro. Sit with me at the front. We can commentate.
Well, yeah, let's do it. I'm down. I can say, well, I don't know if I can say, but I'll just say it anyway. So there is a strong possibility that I will be casting AGL 10. Nothing set in stone yet, but there's a strong possibility I'll be doing AGL 10. So I'm really looking forward to the hatred that I'm going to get in the Twitch chat. But yeah, Yeah, well, there were a lot of racist things. When I didn't go to listening, I got like, this spec, oh my god.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, whoa, dude,
So
you gotta
bad.
calm the F down, man.
Very strong.
But yeah, so no, but seriously, I hope that's the case. Nothing's set in stone yet. Obviously, AGL is really fun. I would like to do it. So we'll see.
It's hoping.
Okay, cool. A lot of the questions are related to Ricochet or the spectator mode. In fact, I'll ask the spectator mode one. Somebody tweeted me asking if spectator mode does make it into Halo 5, do you think it'd be good if there was a way that you could, let's just have a look what it says, if you could just spectate one whole team and you could talk to them, so you could online coach? Do you think that's possible?
Coach mode.
Well, I mean, there are coaches in that watch that participate in like scrims and whatnot, like Mr. X. He sits there and coaches complexity in online matches as well as coaching them in live events. So
Yeah.
I think that there's definitely an opportunity for it. I think it's pretty cool. So we'll see if that's something that they do. But I think the more important thing is to get the spectator in there for observing the game as a whole, and that if they can only fit 2 slots for spectator, I would hope that those 2 slots are not for the coaching feature, but for casting and stuff. But again, I don't. Who knows? It would be really cool.
Okay, cool. I'm going to make this the last one because everything else is just about stuff we've covered, like Halo 4, GC, and Ricochet. And it's for you again, and it's which do you prefer to cast, COD or Halo?
You bastard.
Tread lightly. Tread lightly.
The best.
So, which do I like to cast better? Well, okay,
Defense.
so no, I'll be very honest. And this is the honest to God truth. I love casting both of them, honestly. Halo brings a different vibe for me. The thing that I love about Halo is that I can get super fast-paced and intense with it because the encounters are so much more worthwhile. They're so much more intense than Call of Duty. And Call of Duty, if there's an encounter that's dragging on, it's awesome, right? But in Halo, you get a little bit more of that. Not like frequent, but you get it, and it's very intense. And you know that you're going to get it, so you can go ahead and go crazy with the play-by-play. Also, I love casting Halo because of its rich history. I think it's probably one of the more appealing things with Halo. It's like I can look at this and just say like, man, there's so much that happened before me. This is amazing, and so much for me to feed off of. Now, in Call of Duty's case, the reason why I love casting COD is because it's where I started, and the plays can get really intense. And honestly, Black Ops 2 is the game I like to cast. Looking at all the other CODs, they're not nearly as entertaining as Black Ops 2 is. Black Ops 2 is just a very, very exciting game, and so that's just what I think. So I like casting both of them. It's very hard for me to choose one because each has their pros and cons. And I'm just glad to be able to be in a position to say, hey, I can cast Call of Duty and Halo, because there really aren't that many people who could do that well, and I think that's very important to point out. So I'm very, very honored and proud to do that.
Are you all done then, Trick? Is that the end of...
Yeah, I'm all done. Everything else
All right.
is just about stuff we already spoke about.
Okay, then I'm going to do the quick fire round. We're going to wrap this one up. This is the very last thing. It'll take 5 more minutes, and then we're all done. So we'll start off with... Sean, you can answer first, and then straight away, Alex, you can answer secondly. So, Halo 4, right now, best BR.
Shit. Fuck. Dirty.
Ola,
Best sniper.
Formal. Easy.
snipe down. He's just amazing.
Ooh.
Grenade launcher or sticky dep.
Ooh, grenade launcher, easily.
Oh wait, which one I prefer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Pro Pipe all day.
Okay. Time to piss somebody off.
Pro-pipe.
Gandhi or Maven.
Ooh, Scott.
Neither. No, I'm just messing. I'm messing. I'm messing.
Oh,
It's
that's
them
a
both
good
off.
answer.
Wait, like, but see, here's the thing: Gandhi or Maven is in like sexual favors or as in commentators, because sexual favors would have to be obviously Maven, but as commentators, gotta go with neither. So I'm just messing around. I don't know both. I'm just gonna say both.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. No, you can't say both.
I was just saying both.
Oh.
Moving
Okay.
on. That's
All right
it.
then.
Oh.
Sean's. Are you letting get away with that, Sean? Or does he have to
Oh,
pick
you
one?
have to pick one, Alex.
You have to pick one.
All right, Gandhi.
Oh, he's
I love that guy.
back, Maven.
Absolutely mad.
Okay. Most memorable event in the Halo history.
Well, I think we're both gonna say global championship. Should we do other than global championship?
It's entirely up to yourself.
All
So
right.
far.
I'll go GC number 1, Columbus 2012 number 2.
I was just gonna say the same ones. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Columbus 2012 was amazing. So yeah, that's all I got.
Best
Actually, wait, are you saying best MLG event?
any event you like.
Because I really liked AGL 8.
Any event.
Any
Okay.
event. You can do any event that's hosted Halo.
All right,
that's okay.
I really. Oh no, for me, man, I'm gonna have to go global championship, UMG Halo, followed by Columbus. I really loved UMG Halo. That was like one of the most fun
That
times
was a
ever
good-
casting.
Best Halo game so far.
ODST.
Well, see, there's a thing. There's like, do we judge it
The
just on
firefight.
competitive multiplayer or like as a whole package?
Again, it's entirely. This is a personal choice, so you can choose it. Like myself, I'm choosing Halo 2 all the way. I'm a Halo 2 fanboy, 110%.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
Package, and I'm gonna say Halo 2.
Yeah, same here, man. That got me like just
First
started. up
Xbox
thing.
Live game, like it was
Yeah.
such a new experience.
Yeah.
Sneaky, I don't understand this for myself, but you can go with it. Hamza writes these, not me. Sneaky Beaver or Naughty Armadillo?
Ooh, Naughty Armadillo. That sounds like a good time. That honestly
Yeah.
sounds like a good time.
Feels like a very wild sexual position.
It does, doesn't it? I don't know what Hamza. I don't know how high Hamza is when he writes these.
Like, I imagine like a Sneaky Beaver is kind of like a reach around hybrid, but like a Naughty Armadillo. That sounds like a more aggressive, like in your face. Probably involves multiple orifices. I think that would be really.
I think we need to have some words, Hamza, as the producer in the background, about writing these, where you get these from, or what you're smoking, because these are seriously weird. Okay, you both play competitive. Best teammate of all time.
Best teammate.
Best teammate.
Yeah, who's your best teammate that you've ever teamed with?
Oh man, that's tough. It's a tie between Assassin and Straight Working. The teammate I had back in Black Ops 1, and I teamed with Assassin for Halo Reach, the Call of Duty Assassin.
Yeah, I've never actually competed, so.
Really?
aPK is my teammate.
We'll roll with that one then. Current favorite Halo 4 map and game type.
So a combo.
It doesn't have to be the same one, but your favorite game type at the moment and your favorite map at the moment.
Okay, Ricochet for my game type. Map. Skyline.
Oh, you picked mine, you bastard.
I'm gonna say for my map, I'm a big fan of the fuck is it? Oh my god, sorry, Pit. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Pit. I really just like Pit. It's a good Pit remake in my opinion. And favorite game type, Dominion, son.
That's like a number 2 or 3 for me. Extraction's up there too, for sure.
You're a bit of a hidden Dominion fan, aren't you, Alex?
Dude, whenever I stream Halo, I just stream Dominion.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like,
I always
it.
watch.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's hidden.
That's all I do. I just play Dominion. Like, I really like Dominion. It's so fun. Like, me and Quinn talk about. I yelled at him one time on DMs. And I was like, "Why isn't Dominion higher on the list? If Dominion was higher, to have more players." And he's just like, "No, we can't do that." I was like, "Screw you, Quinn, no boyo." Like, it's the funniest thing.
Final question then: goats or wizards?
Goats
Goats are-
easily.
Wait,
I don't even have
to
to give a
Wizards?
second thought.
Goats or wizards? Yeah, my producer gave me these questions to ask.
Wait. So if you want like the underlying question of this, I think it's Ogre 2 or Pistola, right? Because Ola is referred to as the wizard. Ogre 2 is
He's
referred
seen
to as
through
the
your
goat.
plan there, Sims.
I think he has, hasn't he?
Why
think
not?
he's
Why
trying to
not
pull-
have a wizard with a goat beard?
Ooh.
Or like a goat wizard.
So okay then. So if you're saying that Ola's the wizard and Ogre's
Wait, I'm gonna have to
the
revert.
goat,
Yeah, I pick wizard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who would
I
you?
honestly-
If you combine them, who would the player be?
Be a really ugly person.
I mean,
Oh God, Hamza, we're gonna have to have a word about these questions because they are just retarded. We'll have to speak about these afterwards. All right then. I think we are. Did you give your answer actually, Alex, on that one?
I said a goat, a wizard with a goat beard, or
so we
just.
talked about this, Alex. It's one.
Okay, all right.
It's too late. It's 12 o'clock over
Wizard,
here.
man, wizard.
Okay. Right,
Naughty.
guys, we are going to wrap that up right about now. It has been a fantastic show. I want to thank, first of all, Team Beyond for letting me, letting us use the Twitch as ever. It's a fantastic opportunity, so thank you very much to Siren, Saucy, and the rest of the team out there. I want to thank you all for joining us, everyone in the chat. I think we hit 90 viewers tonight, which is good, fantastic. And most important, so, Mr. Trick, thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully the full team will be back next week, but thank you very much as ever. You are more than welcome. Alex and Sean, guys, thank you so much. Alex, if people want to follow, is it on YouTube mainly you do your videos?
Yeah, I do stuff on YouTube. Occasionally, you'll see me pop up on Beyond, and also every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you'll see me on Kotaku. So Kotaku.com.
And Sean, if people want to follow all your current videos and content, where do they need to watch you at?
A Polish Korean. That's my URL for everything.
Absolutely everything. Fantastic. Right, guys, I think our good friend Scott did just go live over on his channel for Candy Thoughts, and he's with Snakebite, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to head over there. Once again, from me and the team and everybody here, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, and good night.